Yeah, and so the Shadow of Doubts are a little bit funky. I had dams in this spot. The last time we played or last time I showed the deck, I ended up like thinking that I just don't like dam very much as a card. And the Shadow of Doubts have been doing well in other coffers lists, so I kind of want to try them out. I think that they are kind of it's kind of an issue in the open decklist PT field, because like your opponents are like always going to play around them, but maybe it's also maybe the case that the first Shadow of Doubt is good because your opponents are always playing around it. You just draw it in cycle. This deck have enough win conditions? I think so, yeah. I don't think you're gonna have a problem with 3 Sheoldred for Invoke Despair. Isn't Bowmasters just better than Shadow? So I'm just kind of thinking that you don't want Bowmasters in coffers. I could just be wrong. I had a draft of the deck that was playing Bowmasters instead, but I'm thinking that you want the deck to be removal, and then spells that are good when you don't have coffers, and spells that are good when you do have coffers. Is kind of the dynamic I'm wanting to play. Oh, also, I guess I forgot to mention this time, but I really think that splashing white so you can answer opposing Karns and opposing Pithing Needles is really important in the coffers build, because like you're currently like so cold to Karn and Needles in the mono black version. We dropped that. We dropped to add 2. A land and then cut an Urborg for the 12 fetches. So up to 12 fetches now. Any plans to play 14 land living in? Tentatively, although other people have been playing it, it's kind of a known quantity now. Ratchet Bomb Veil. I mean, so against like living in. I don't know. Yeah, at the very least, you would have to map out like all your spots. It seems really tough. But there you could maybe do that. Halfling in this build doesn't seem bad. Yeah, I could get some Sheoldreds in there. Yeah, I think green for Explorer Stirrings makes sense. Again, I think I would not be playing Bowmasters at the moment. I think Bowmasters makes more sense in the Sieves build, like the Field of Ruin build. But if you're playing the Explore build or this one, I don't think you want it, at least at the time of making this comment. Okay, we'll see if my opponent has turn 2 hit you with a hammer plus protection, because that's usually pretty tough to beat. So I'm kind of dead to another hammer anyways, right? If they have a land for the Nexus. So let's target the hammer, not the Ornithopter, so it can be a bit better against a Pure Steel Paladin. You like Gigantha? So Gigantha or Sheoldred is not a conversation in my mind. It's like I will play Sheoldred. I will play Gigantha if Gigantha is literally free, and I won't play Gigantha if Gigantha is not literally free. This is like always my concern. It's like if I feel like Sheoldred is like the optimal card for the main deck, I will not play Gigantha. Okay, so we're gonna bring in the Path of Perils. 2 Break the Ice, no Reprieves. Maybe 1 Reprieve over Thoughtseize 4. Grazer and Cabal Coffers? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, also, like, getting a real sideboard is super nice. I'm kind of missing the tutor. Yeah, the thought is that this build gets to play Shadow Prophecy over the tutor, but I'm missing the tutor a little bit, too. Let's go ahead and get my Triumph turn 1, I think. Arms Black-Green Coffers with Stirring and Scrying. I haven't seen that one, though. I tend to like Profane Tutor more than Scrying. Yeah, I'm just not supposed to. Yeah, I guess I just actually supposed to play this and hold up the mana to bluff the Fatal Push. Would I play Gigantha in a deck that had main deck compatibility with cyber cards that not made it work? Yeah, I would. Okay, would love to draw a land for Path of Peril. Or just in general. Would they have hammered? I think they would have hammered if they had one. I can also take a hit from a hammer if they draw one this turn, or if they had one. And maybe I make them commit a bit more into my path. You know, when you play Karn, you don't have to put in 15 silver bullets, right? I do know that, but it's like... But again, if you're playing a black Karn Coffers deck, you have you have like like the list that was submitted has main deck relics, main deck March of Early Light, or March of Rich and Sorrow, main deck Fatal Pushes. How are we getting like these cards are like awful in many matchups? Like relic cycles, you can keep it in, but I would like prefer to have the ability to cut it if I needed to, and it's like the Karn decks specifically are Wait, why is this not? Oh, sorry. I don't know. I'm only making 3 on this turn. It's mana neutral, not mana positive. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just break the ice, hold the binding. Oh, I can't bind it because of Lavinia. Okay, still just break the ice. So rambly, but yeah, it's like and then it's like your fatal pushes. They need to like come in against Living End. They need to come in against Blue White Control. They need to come in against Tron. But like different card, there's not like a card that's good in all of those matchups. Or if there's some, but there's not many cards that are good in all of those matchups. And any of them are going to be like more generally. They're not going to be your Rest in Pieces and your Hallowed Moonlights and your Break the Ices that we get to play in this sideboard. Four push, 4 relic. You still have 7 targets in the current sideboard. What are you running in the board that those cards can't be taken out? I don't know. You can build the deck that way. You can build the deck that way. But your Karns are also much worse when you only have 7 Karn targets. You can build a Karn with only 7 targets. That's fine. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but I'm saying that there's tension. Must be right to hold here. I think I'm just gonna play the Ring. It's bad if they have a Spell Pierce. Q2, 5 months, thank you. I've played Cabal Coffers, always felt like having a dedicated play for Tron was a waste of sideboard slots between its low play and alpha matchup. Well, you felt like that in the past. Tron is currently like popular again. Tron is currently like a deck that you could really realistically be able to see, especially with the uptick in 4-color Omnath. Lex for the 2 months, thank you. And but you are right in the point that the answer that most Coffers players, the conclusion most Coffers player comes to is that I'm just going to lose to some of these matchups. I'm just going to lose to some of these matchups. That is, of course, always a fine option. It's always on the table to just lose sometimes to these kind of decks. That being said, does that mean that these builds are better than versions without Karn? And I think there's a very good chance it's better to play not Karn, which is why we're doing this here. Lexer with the 2 months, thank you. Cast of the Fire, any good? It's really mediocre. It's not nothing, but it's not a card I'm very excited to play. It's like yes, you can just be weak to those decks, or you can just not play Karn, and then all of a sudden you have like a really robust sideboard. Not that Karn is bad, but it's just not this clear to me what the best build is. Yeah, the 8-field version too. That is true. The 8-field version, the matchup's probably fine. So they drew a protection spell. We're dead. Anvil Tron deck. Yeah, I like the Anvil Tron deck a lot. Are we dead if they jam? No, we can binding the hammer. Surge. Yeah, we sold their hand last turn. They didn't have one. They would have had to have top decked it. This is the second league. We lost to Creativity, and I ended up dropping to go up a land, go up a fetch land to 27, and then down on Urborg to go up to 12 total fetches, which I think has been a good change. In this modern PT testing, to what extent am I genuinely considering each deck to be a deck you bring? Example, this black-white Coffers list versus more broadly evaluating the format. Okay, as far as like broadly evaluating the format goes, I'm not really at the spot where I feel like I need to be. I'm not playing the broadly that kind of stuff. I'm not doing on stream. The decks that I like, I probably have like 5 or 6. I probably have like 5 or 6 decks that we have played that I'm like more seriously considering. But I'm just not trying to play the same deck on stream twice to conceal information. And so it's like you're not seeing my complete PT testing on stream. You're not seeing the whole picture on purpose. So your safe play was binding the Sigarda's Aid. They had 2 Sigarda's Aids in play. Also would have lost the second hammer. Also would have lost the Surge of Salvation. But they also had 2, so you are wrong on every count. Congratulations. This hand is, yeah, I know, I just figured we're on 27 lands, we'll draw 1. But, and we have also, like, the double pushes are nice too. Any builds on humans for the PT? Not necessarily, but it's not out of the question. Up against blue-white control, probably. Would I never bring to the PT regardless of testing? Your pet deck. Still on Deluge, huh? Okay, Fun Raveler's fine for us here. Was definitely hoping to draw a land so I could go Thoughtseize into ring. We can still do that next turn because we have 2 rings now. We can play the Leyline Binding Dance. I'm just going to draw now, try to draw a land. Or try to tap it now, try to draw a land. Yeah, we lose the Leyline Binding Dance. Spike with Twitter melting down and non-users being unable to see tweets. Any thoughts of moving to Mastodon? I mean, Twitter's kind of a shit show, but like, one... I don't know. It's like I thought that non-users already couldn't see tweets. This was something that kind of confused me the other day because like I like remember making an account so I could see tweets. I was surprised to hear that like non-users couldn't. But also like how you I don't really know exactly what Mastodon is or like what's going on there. But I am like very confused by it because isn't it like invite only? It's like an invite-only website, and it's like very hard to get in, and like people are begging for an account, and like nobody's on there. You know what I mean? Nobody's on there, and you can't get on there. And it's just like I'll go where the people are. You know, I'm happy enough to go where people are. If Mastodon is popular, I'll go to Mastodon. I'm thinking of Blue Sky. Okay, I guess I just don't know what Mastodon is. But the point is, like, right now, if I switch to one of these sites, like, it just nobody's gonna follow me there. Twitter is still like the place to talk about stuff. And like maybe an alternative becomes better than Twitter one day, but like that'll just happen. You know, that'll just happen when it happens. Just like can't draw lands. But yeah, I don't have loyalty to any platform, you know. But you do just have to be where the platforms are are used still. Yeah, landless coffers is a new archetype. Why leave Twitter? I mean, I'm not leaving Twitter, but that's what chatters are suggesting I do. Twitter will leave us, maybe, huh? Twitter is sinking ship. I've become the first big MTGO content creator on Tumblr. I agree that I agree that Twitter could fail, but who cares? It'll fail. If it fails, it fails. I don't have a leg in the race or a horse in the leg. Solitude, Supreme Verdict. Okay. Twitter ain't going anywhere. Yeah, probably not. But I don't know. Social medias fail sometimes. It's like also sometimes just because a social media site is popular doesn't mean it's not failing. I think like Vine was a really good example of an app that was really popular. It was just so used, but it just wasn't managed well, and it failed because of it. And then you have TikTok, alternative to Vine, which is just I don't know how they're running it, but it's actually working. But who cares? Alright, so let's go for Thoughtseize, Sheoldred, Invoke. I just didn't make money. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But again, it's also, who cares? Being really invested in this kind of stuff is not that interesting. Guess I'll cast a Shadow Prophecy. Kind of bad if they answer my Sheoldred with the Verdict. But I can dig for another one, which we did find. We out of rings. We have this one in the hand and this one in play, but there are no more in the deck. They're binding in response. Interesting. What are they gonna bounce? Okay, so we go down to 2. I'm gonna Solitude. I'll gain 4 life. They deluge in response. Looking for another binding. They've already used 2, just 2, yeah. They don't find it. So we go down to 6. We'll take Reprieve, Invoke Despair. Should have used the floating mana for more coffers. Do I play another ring? I think yes. Yes. How many Invoke Despairs? I think I have only one left. No, I have 2. Uncounterable. Heck W. They can play it again, but it's alright. Gotta tap out. So we have 15 cards left in our deck, 2 Invoke Despairs. There's one of them. The Cling to Dust is also really nice here. I kind of wanted to play a second Cling. So we put our opponent to 1. If they can't answer the shield at instant speed, they're gonna die. I think they're conceding because of that. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're gonna cut the Fatal Pushes. We're gonna bring in the Kozilek. Although I did go on about how we didn't have sideboard cards for blue-white, and we still don't. Probably fine to just bring in like the planes. Break the Ice doesn't kill enough. Just like a couple Moonlights to cycle. Can maybe playing Turok on the sideboard for the 4-color matchup and stuff. I wonder if we're supposed to be main decking the planes. Probably not. It would be the 28th land, I think, for sure. Probably fun to just board it in against the Blood Moon decks. Keep this. Guess if I'm gonna play Shadow down, I'll just also play around it. I guess we target the Crumble. Not sure that it's correct. Yeah, I think once Wednesday happens, we're going to start to see a lot more ring decks because there's going to be the All Access Pass. So kind of excited to see what Modern looks like there. So I was looking for Coffers, didn't find one. We'll just take Sheoldred land. I don't think I'm taking the Shadow of Doubt. My opponent's been showing an intention of playing around it. I know they have a Binding, but I also have my own Binding up, so I can Binding their Binding if they go for that over Deluge. I'm just gonna pass. No, Consume the Spirit and Coffers is so disrespectful to TG Boomers. I don't even know. I have no idea what that card even is. I played for 6 ring decks throughout today. I mean, for me, I like that because I get to like PT test a bit better. We'll see. Black 1, spin only black 1 X. Deals X damage to your target, you gain X life. Wow. Ring good, rings broken. Nice. They got a counter spell up, it looks like. Might let this go. They do let it go if they have the counterspell in the first place. Typhoon for 0. Yeah, I don't know what the energies are like. I don't know if I could tell you like what the energy metagame would be like, unfortunately. Okay, I like drawing the Reprieve. Oh, well, it just resolves. That's nice. So I tap it, they Binding. And I binding their binding in response, and then they binding my binding, and I binding their binding, and then we wonder, is there anything that's not bound this game? The benefit of discarding basic over fetch. With Urborg in play, the basic is like always as good as the fetch, or the fetch is always good as the basic, but it has the upside of getting a Godless Shrine or something else, right? But like they're not Field of Ruining me, and I guess if they crumble to dust the Urborg, there's a little bit of a problem. Okay, so I know they have another binding. So I guess I just let this go. I could cast the Shadow Prophecy now. I think I'd rather just hold up Reprieve on their turn. You draw an extra card to flip the trigger resolve? No, they have cast binding in response to me tapping my ring. If the binding resolves, there's never a counter put on the ring, and I draw 0 cards. We should start off with the Shadow Prophecy. Could be good to take another Coffers. I think we just have plenty of mana. Ugh, what a hand. I think I have to take the binding is just like it's just the 1 mana answer. Salty, 21 months, thank you. Let the ring activate the ring, let binding resolve, then binding the binding activate again with the ring activation on the stack. Why is that any different? It's a different game object, so it's not like you get a counter on the ring. It's not like the other trigger on the stack does anything. I'm not seeing how that's any different. All seems greedy in their binding deck? Yeah, these kind of cards I think are usually nonsense. Maybe CO6 ult. I was definitely thinking about it. I kind of want to get into a fight pre-combat. Like if they fight here, then I know like they're not gonna get to use their solitude super well. Yeah, so still should be the same thing. Topaz, 36 months, thank you. They still have Solitude and Archmage's Charm. Put them in a tricky spot. Feels like GG. So they have a white card, then they can... It's a pretty good showing. I think also, like, to those who've been wondering, like, is R3 Sheoldred for Invoke enough win conditions? If we're beating blue-white control twice, it is. I think you have to play the Invokes to have enough win cons. Although it could be better to play Karn over Invoke if you're worried about Invoke sucking with the ring being around, which might be a good argument. Up against Giganta. I did not have any input on this version of the One Ring, no. Opponent's on a Mold of 5, probably Tron. When I saw it, it was 5 mana, indestructible, and then none of this text was the same. I can't say what it was, but I can say this was not the same at all. Giganta, Footed Strand, Breeding Pool, Mold of 5. Oh boy. Fatal Push, Leyline Binding. Probably can't win if we don't draw one of those right now. Ding, 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 ding. Maybe we should have mulliganed. I'm always like a little hesitant to mulligan with Coffers. Why didn't last opponent have Kahira? Good question. Blue-white players are a really stubborn bunch. We have a lot of them in here, and some of them are really married to Snapcaster. Some of them are really married to that 15th sideboard slot. Some of them just forget. Feels like aggro's not feasible in Ring World. No, Burn is like pretty good against most Ring decks. Although I'm starting to think you really don't want to play Rift Bolt. Because Rift Bolt is like, it was bad against Teferi, now it's really bad against Teferi and Ring. So I don't know if it's like 4 Skullcrack, 2 Helix, 3 Helix, 2 Skullcrack, or what exactly, but even like splashing black. I mean, Bump and Light's also not great against it because it's sorcery, but good splash bump. 4-color Omnath Super Ring decks. I mean, that's what I got second in the challenge. But Burn is very good against the Omnath deck. Like when I've played a league of that Omnath deck, I've played the challenge. I've lost to the Mirror twice, and I've lost to Burn. Those have been my only losses. I'm gonna cast a Prophecy. I don't need the lands, so I guess I'll take the spells. Where to find a Coffers? As a Burn player, you should stop suspending Rift Bolts when your opponent has 3 mana in a Teferi deck. Yeah, but like, what if we just don't play Rift Bolt anymore? So we don't have to make this decision ever. Because sometimes it's very awkward that you have Rift Bolt and then you have to do that. Is playing Urborg a punt? We give opponent domain? No, I think being able to Coffers and Invoke Despair out potentially is something we want. I started taking Vortex. Yeah, the Vortex is pretty awkward with the baubles. Because I really like the DRC build, but that definitely seems fine. So we get down to 3, we're down to a Lightning Bolt. Could have been maybe correct to play around it, but yeah, we're dead to Bolt no matter what, so I'm just gonna tap this now. Maybe upkeep so I don't have to go to discard. Okay. Could main phase a Fatal Push. I think discarding is just fine. Thinking Rakdos Burn with Bowmaster Sign and Blood. What do I think? Could try it out. That doesn't sound very good to me. I wouldn't play Sign and Blood and Burn. I wouldn't play Bowmasters and Burn. And people get too obsessed with these like kind of synergies. Ooh, I'm going to Sign and Blood my opponent, and then they'll be sorry when they lose. You know, when they lose 2 life, and then I Bowmaster them, ping them twice more, and I turn it into a Boros Charm. But it's just like just play Boros Charm. I don't know. Alright, dead to Tribal Flames. Still dead to Bolt. I guess I could like Reprieve into Cling. Opponent definitely misplayed. You're saying they should have Binding the Ring instead? Or Binding Sheoldred in response. Yeah, they definitely punted, of course. Just gonna gain 2 more. To a Flame of Keld. So, like, I know that Burn players are always so jealous. Burn players are always so jealous of all of the card advantage spells that other decks get to play. And they're like, man, I just really wish I could play my own card advantage spell one day. Just don't. Like, card advantage spells are just not good in Burn. Like, you can't afford to spend your mana drawing cards. You need to spend your mana burning your opponent. Man, I wish one day I could grow up and cast a card advantage spell. Yeah, I think the Reprieves are really good here. Oh, so I want the Shadow of Doubt. Yeah, the risk factors. Man, I just really wish I could cast a card advantage spell. Everyone else looks like they're having so much fun. I'll play the Ring. I'll play Light at the Stage. I'll play Underworld Breach. I'll splash for a double black Sign in Blood. Let's not, okay? Let's not. You get Sunbait Canyon, and you'll be thankful for Sunbait Canyon. Yeah, Treasure Cruise was good in Burn. I liked it there. We are main decking the Shadow of Doubt. We are main decking it. Bowmat. I remember like my old like Magic group chat was obsessed with Bowmat Courier and Burn. Obsessed. Reprieve and Burn. Don't play Reprieve and Burn. Play Burn spells. Why is Bowmat burn? So Bowmat is not bad. It's just like suboptimal. It's just not as good as your like other threats. If we play Reprieve and Splash for T-Fairy, I don't think a double splash seems too hard here. How was Lotho in the Urza deck? We played one match. It was against Deceive, who Bowmastered my Lotho twice, and I was like, fine. I'll put the Lothos down. Reprieve and Black-White Smallpox can make any sense. I don't know. Black-White Smallpox seems like a pretty poor deck at the moment. You can play it there, you can not play it there, but it doesn't seem like a great home for it. Or like, I mean, Reprieve is just it's a paperclip. It's something you kind of you're not always playing it, but. Does this deck need Invoke Despair? Yes. You don't have enough win conditions without the Invoke Despairs. You have to play Karn, or you have to play another win condition over the Invoke Despairs, and I like the Despair is like only 5 mana at least. I think we're gonna go Thoughtseize plus Binding over the Prophecy here. Treble Flames is pretty scary, but if I just take all their threats, then we can survive. Guess probably was better to Binding earlier. Maybe if they draw another Ragavan. So we get blasted down to 4. Then do another Tribal Flames off the top. I did cut my Shadow Prophecies post-board, but... So, probably okay just jamming this end of turn. If they have Bolt, we're dead. But I'm also okay if they Stubborn Annihilate, which kind of unlocks my Invoke Despairs if I draw a land. If they do something like this... I guess No, we should Binding. They're gonna stub the Binding, and then we could try to draw a land for Invoke. And then if we miss, we can try to Prophecy into another Binding or push. We did hit. If they have another stub, good beats. They have one unknown card in hand at the moment. Less than Sauron's Ransom versus Shadow Prophecy. It's like really close. It's not like a big deal either way. I don't think one is much better than the other. So they're dead to one more Invoke Despair. Ooh, life gain is super nice. Now I'm not dead to a Tribal Flames. This Marsh is good at Mono Black. I agree March is good when you have lots of mana and not a lot of life. We have a Cling. Cling's also nice with Shadow Prophecy because you can mill it over. Pretty easy ring coffers, I think. Gotta be careful not to accidentally sack the fetches. Classic problem. Prince at 1? So we could harmless offering the ring over to their possession. Yeah, I've been a big fan of the Reprieves. Yeah, this is where Gutshot would be good in the deck. Invasion of Laura in One Ring? Yeah, maybe. I'm not completely opposed to it. Did think about it. Yeah, this would be a good spot for Belmont Courier. Alright, so they're the Sheoldred, or maybe if they have Binding, they're not. Okay. Easy mode. Any changes you can offer creativity players for the new meta? No, I don't know. Seems tough. Yeah, but it's not going great. Fatal Push off the top. I guess it's like equally bad if they hit either Triumph here, so I don't need to crack my fetch right now. No! Ragavan always taunting you.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
I think I was getting Raffine's Tower, locked in on casting Binding. I mean, we could get the Jund Triumph, play Godless Shrine, and cast either Reprieve or Binding, but I'm gonna go ahead and cast it now, so if they counterspell, they have to use a treasure. This is a testing house every card you need, or I'm not too worried about it, but we haven't that's not something we've discussed, or if it's been discussed, I've missed it. I'm bringing my collection. I'm under the assumption that I'm bringing the cards I need for my decks. Main deck might, so like a Jund Saga, a Temur Saga deck of some kind. Yeah, Temur Breach. I think I like Reprieving this. Could be maybe a bit better than Prophecy. It's a pretty good draw. Yeah, I won't have any issues at getting cards. Don't worry, Cal, but they appreciate the offer. I guess I just... Push the Might, then cast the Ring. Pretty good pickup. Thanks, Doom. There's Ragavan, 5 mystery cards. Thought they were going to destruct. Well, Haywire Might exiles. It does not destruct. It's kind of tough for them to kill this. They have to have like double bolts. Heat plus bolts. Could reprieve this, and then I get to gain 2 life. Just not going to. Thoughtseize is kind of dangerous here. I go down to 8, then down to 6 off the Ragavan attack, down to 4 off the ring trigger. I think I'm still going to play it. So now I'm just going to reprieve my own Thoughtseize. It's a lot of burn over there. Then to another bolt, unless I find a cling, I guess. I'm going to get practice drafting. Yeah, just most of it off stream. So I have to find my 1 of Cling to Dust. Can't Shadow Prophecy into it because I just died of the Prophecy. Okay. So I go to game 2 against Breach. I want at least 2 Rest in Peace. I'm not sure if I want 3. Probably playing Ren and 6 also, so 3 is probably fine. Reprieve seems pretty bad against them. Don't think they're playing Saga, so I'm not going to consider Bloodmoon by playing Plains. Could play 1 Break the Ice. I think I'll just play. Yeah, we'll go down to Prophecy. Just play 2 Reprieves. It's probably fine. Solitary Confinement plus Ring. Does Confinement prevent the damage? Is this life loss or damage? Lose 1 life, yeah. Would you consider board deck like Murktide Hammer or Scam for the PD? Yeah, of course. Of course I would consider stock top decks. Although I do think Murktide Hammer and Scam are all pretty bad at the moment. Maybe with the maybe Scam as the exception, but I was like destroying Scam with 4-color Omnath over the weekend. Yeah, creativity is also bad too. Honestly, I think Omnath is like the top deck right now. I think the 4-color Omnath is like the deck to beat at the moment. You can say that the matchup was fine for Scam. Well, like when we say fine, do we mean like you can never lose, never win? It's like you want to keep. I think I'm going to keep on the mold to 6 on the play. We have a cantrip. Just so hard to mold to 5 in a matchup like this. No, let's go to 5. Yeah, his hand's way better. Yeah, but it's just like what do we mean that the matchup's fine? Like, I think Omnath is favored for almost for sure, but like you can win some games. You can win some games with Grief cheeses, and you can win some games with like Blood Moon cheeses. But it's hard if your opponent's able to play around Blood Moon and you don't have like those fast Grief games. It's hard to win, which makes it hard to win like 2 out of 3 games, I think. Madcap Experiment to Platinum Imperion to negate damage from Ring, baby. Although, if you're also Madcap into Ring, right? Maybe we should cut the 5. The 6 card hand that 2 pushes, huh? Seems like a fine mulligan. Did need to avoid turn 1 Ragavan, pretty bad. What's my Cyber playing against 4 color? I'm kind of main pre-boarded against them. I'm kind of. I think I'm gonna bring in like the Kozilek for a push, maybe. I think I gotta take another hit from Ragavan. Thoughts on Bowmasters and Grixis Shadow? Seems fine. I think there's a good chance you're supposed to play Bowmaster Shredder no Shadow. But although like the presence of like 1 mana cards may be nice. You probably have to play 19 lands there too, so it's not like a super clean. Is the Urborg just to make your coffers kind of swamps also? Yeah. And then, like, you could, so, like, just theorizing Grixis. So, I think this is, like, the last build I played. So, you're like, Bowmasters overshadows, 19 lands. I guess the problem is, like, your Drowns aren't good if you cut the Thoughtseizes, but if I'm cutting Shadows, I'm kind of down to cut Thoughtseize. Where's the Delve Threat? Underworld Breach. Yeah, at that point, you're maybe just better off being Fair Breach, so probably makes sense to keep the Shadows in. Thoughtseize nabbing Ring before it comes down is nice, and Shadow's still good threat. Yeah, they're fine, yeah. Yeah, I think the list, like, Bowmaster over Shredder seems pretty good. Imri deck running recipes? No, this is my rest in peace they hit with Ragavan. Bowmaster's acting as suitor removal allows you to cut a Heat and Bolt to run Pierce with Breach still. Maybe. They have 2 breaches. Well, they don't have a 0 mana artifact yet. I think I'm still just playing the Ring. And I guess I tap the Ring now, so when they Haywire Might it, they have to use the treasure. Oh, okay, they're just not gonna Might. I guess that's okay. Yeah, so we're done if they can find a 0 mana artifact, and they can have a lot of looks at it if they're like sacking their tokens. Okay, well. The very common forget about the protection from everything step. Been seeing this step a lot lately. Then they sack the Might, and they can replay Might with Imri to get an extra look at a 0-drop. If they brick here, though, I think we get to untap. Wow, they bricked again. Good to know about those Veils. So now they may just sack the Might to exile the Ring. Alright, that's the plan. Gonna be a tough game. It's been a tough game, I guess. Not out of it yet. It would be really nice to find a Rest in Peace, so I could go like fetch my other Triome, Cabal Coffers, Cash Out of Prophecy, digging for Rest in Peace. I go down to 9, then I get hit from the Ragavan again. I guess that's okay. And then if I'm going to tap one of the coffers, and if I brick on my Rest in Peace. If I break up my Rest in Peace, I can still Binding, and I have 2 more mana also. Okay, so I found Fatal Push. I guess we take Invoke Fatal Push. And then I do have Revolt. It's maybe best to go push Imri, Binding, Grinding Station. No, it's actually, I think, best to just go push Imri and then Binding the Breach itself. Take another hit for the monkey. This would be a cool game to win. Let's have game 3. Yeah, so they're gonna get a member. And then they're gonna cast a Breach. And thankfully, oh, they have Spell Pierce, fuck. Yeah, so I guess I need to Binding the station while it was tapped. Because now they just sack the station and replay it. So we should be dead if they... Oh, although the Imri costs 2 mana though. I guess it costs 1 after they attack with Ragavan. Oh, they did fuck up. They didn't sack the grinding station. Okay, they did fuck up. Could still lose if they mill over another grinding station, and we're still like, there's like not a scenario where we like untap this turn and we're in good shape. Oh, and they just have a bolt. Okay, well, very tough game. Oh, they also have the Haywire Might. Yeah, there's not really any way we get out of that one. Hand's good against Thoughtseize. Let's mulligan though. That's what I mulled a 5. Okay, I'm just not gonna play the do I draw Rest in Peace simulator. I just don't have it in me right now. I just don't want to do 20 minutes of pretending to care about game 1 and then like mulling to Rest in Peace games 2 and 3. I just over it. You can imagine what that might be like. Okay, so I have some things you can play as the backup to the backup. Yeah, Dredge is so bad to like watch.